We've got a crowd waiting for the Pope to step off the plane. I heard them chanting earlier, "We love Francis." Yes, we do. We love Francis. How about you? And we walk with Francis every day. Once the Pope gets off the plane, there aren't any formal remarks scheduled for today, but he does have a busy schedule, which I will run down for you, time permitting. Like I said, we have our reporter, Chris Williams, in D.C. I want to make sure we have time to talk to him. So, Chris, can you talk to me about just the atmosphere of this event? The son-in-law of Billy Graham died today. Danny Lotz had a heart attack while swimming earlier this week. He spent nearly 2 days in ICU. Less than 24 hours after Governor Pat McCrory committed to signing this new abortion bill. Wrong-way wreck along Interstate 85 that killed 3 people. And what's next following the mistrial ruling in the case of the North Carolina police officer charged with voluntary manslaughter. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sharon Stone. We'll have those stories coming right up. First here at 6 o'clock, meteorologist Doug Lindsay is here with the first check of your weather on the One's forecast. And Doug, we had some rain just in time for the kids to go back to class.
Yes, we did.
A roller coaster day at the New York Stock Exchange as stocks just plunged. Let's get the latest on the economy now from our team on Wall Street. The drop is blamed on fears about the Chinese economy, but investors are seeing opportunity. Bob Costner takes a look at the impact and the long-term predictions. North Carolina's controversial voter ID law was back in court today. A Wake County judge heard arguments about whether it violates the state constitution in requiring someone to present a photo ID before being allowed to vote. Attorneys for the state want this case thrown out. Uncertainty still surrounds the future for Officer Randall Carrick, just days after a mistrial was declared in his voluntary manslaughter case. Jonathan Farrell's family is calling for another trial, but the Attorney General's office has not said if that will happen. Carrick remains on unpaid administrative leave with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Kay Geyer takes a closer look at what could be next. 20-year-old Chandler Kenya is now charged with using a fake ID to purchase alcohol. Kenya also faces 3 counts of second-degree murder and a DWI charge. Police say he drove the wrong way on I-85 outside of Hillsborough before crashing head-on into another vehicle, killing 3 people and injuring another. Investigators say Kenya used a fake ID to buy drinks at 2 Chapel Hill bars the night that wreck happened. He's currently under house arrest in Asheboro. If convicted, Kenya could spend some 50 years behind bars. The State Highway Patrol is wrapping up its accident report in a collision between a truck and an Amtrak train that injured dozens in March. A collision report released today states as many as 58 passengers were hurt during the crash. The most serious was a woman whose injury is described as potentially disabling. The operators of the train and railroad have filed a lawsuit claiming the crash was caused by the trucking company, both saying it failed to take safety precautions or warn that the track was blocked by the truck trying to make a left turn. Less than 24 hours after Governor Pat McCrory committed to signing this new abortion bill, opponents say the 72-hour waiting period is a direct campaign promise violation. Governor McCrory says that's not true.
Due to my work and others' work, we did not add further restrictions to access.
McCrory says signing this abortion bill does not counter a statement he made during his campaign for governor that he would sign no further restrictions on abortion into law.
I have followed that promise. In fact, if anything, I ensured that that bill was written so women would not be denied access.
They think they are doing right by women, but they are not.
Politicians are again inserting themselves between a woman and her doctor.
Mandatory delays do nothing to dissuade women from having abortions. They just make it harder to get them.
This group supporting women's rights gathered outside of the governor's office to express their disapproval.
As a physician, I provide my patients with the best and most comprehensive care possible. Our relationship is built on trust, privacy, and open communication. The provisions of this bill undermine that trust and privacy.
The governor says most people don't know it takes a phone call to start the clock on the 72 hours.
And I think when most people find that out, they go, that's reasonable. That's a reasonable process to go through.
It all comes down to differing definitions of access and restrictions.
The governor's trying to spin this the best way possible. He's trying to say, look, this is a health issue, and then, you know, the 72-hour window does start at a phone call, not with a first office visit. For people who wanted him to veto, they're not buying that spin.
Another controversial part of this bill requires doctors to send information, including ultrasounds, about abortions that are performed after 18 weeks to the State Department of Health. Opponents are concerned about how and what that information will be used for. In Raleigh, Sharon Stone, Time Warner Cable News.